What is the best way to buy land? Guys, by the end of this video, you're gonna see just how simple it is to buy land, but more importantly, how buying land has little to no competition. If you're a subscriber to my channel, you will know that I talk a lot about wholesaling. There's just something about wholesaling single family real estate that's super exciting. But what about land? In this video, I'm gonna share with you 3 real-time case studies of how I was able to acquire land at a deep discount. And the third one is a strategy that I did right as a beginner. All right, our case study number 1. This is one that my wife, she's like, how do I get involved in real estate, but I don't really want to go wholesale. Like, I don't want to meet with homeowners in their clumped up homes or the homes that are falling apart. I don't want to deal with that. And I said, well, sweetheart, right now, people are buying land. And so she's like, oh my gosh, this sounds like right up my alley. You don't have to talk to people, and this strategy is very simple. So I'm gonna break it down to you right now how my wife, in just a very short time, within like 4 weeks of start to setup to getting the first contract, it took only 4 weeks, and we're gonna break that down right now. First and foremost, when it comes to land, guys, there's really no competition. You can pick counties that are outside of your big cities like Salt Lake, right? Most people are, and when it comes to wholesaling and single family, there's a ton of wholesalers in Salt Lake City. There's a ton of wholesalers in the major counties, the major cities. But what about the outskirts? What about the rural areas? These are areas that there's a ton of land. Now there's a ton of land in Utah, and there's a ton of land in every state. What about these parcels? And is there a way to make this work? Ultimately, what my wife was able to do is she picked a county right here in Utah that's about an hour and 15 minutes away from Salt Lake City. And she just got on just some simple searches, and she used the software. The software happened to be called Priced, and whether you use software or not, it's okay. But I just want to share with how easy this was. She got on this software, was able to look up properties all in any county she wanted. She picked one county, and she found out what the property, like a little bit about it, the homeowner, the property address, found out what the property's going for, like the county assessed value, as well as like the going rate, because county assessed and what they're selling for on the MLS to like retail is always gonna be a little bit different. So she has those prices, and she just wanted to do a test. She's like, because this is raw land and maybe someone's holding on to this and didn't know they could sell it, what she did is she sent out 200 offers a week for 4 weeks. So 200 letters. And in this letter, she broke it down very simple. Basically that she was interested in this parcel number, and she offered at 20 cents on the dollar from the retail price. So if it was going for $1,000, she was offering $200. And she did this to 200 offers every single week for 4 weeks. Now guys, here's the quick analogy behind this. Because there's literally no competition, she was getting people, yes, frustrated, like, I would never sell my property for that price. You're crazy. And they would spend the time and 50 cents to mail that message back to my wife. But then there were some that were actually signing it. So within that letter was already like her offer, and that if they wanted to move forward, to just sign it and send it back so she could start doing the title work. She started getting a lot of return mail from people saying they were interested. And more importantly, more property than she could transact on. And so she was sitting here thinking, oh my gosh, Cody, which one should we buy? We ended up within 4 weeks buying a 10-acre piece of property that's in a city called Tabiona. We bought a 3-acre in Duchesne, and we bought another 5-acre in Duchesne. And with all these properties, they were in prime places where cabins were being built. She bought them at 20 cents on the dollar. And then here's what she decided to do. She turned around and she put them on sale to retail buyers with seller financing available. So she put them on Facebook groups. She put them on KSL, which is a big thing here in Utah, but would make no sense to anyone else out of state. She put it on all these sites that she's listing it. And she put it for the full retail price, but that we're willing to finance it, seller finance it for $500 a month. She had a bunch of people reaching out saying they want the land. And we have now sold all 3 of those properties where we have $500 per property, so $1,500 a month coming in, and they're gonna be paying the full 100% value of what the property's worth, even though she bought them for 20 cents on the dollar. The second way This again goes back to my wife. We're learning about land together, but mainly she's the one running this and doing this. And I couldn't believe, because she doesn't spend much time. My kids are at school. All of them are at school only 2 days a week, but the majority were at school all the days, Monday through Friday. I had 3 kids go to school, and then 1 kid only goes Tuesday and Thursday. So she didn't have much time. She had about 2 to 4 hours a day on average that she can invest into this. Now, we had an individual call back that says, hey, I don't want to sell that property that you mailed me on. And she's like, okay. And I couldn't believe my wife had the knowledge to do this, because sales is not her thing. But she's like, hey, you sound like maybe, do you have any other land then besides that land? I know I mailed on this one, but do you happen to have any other land? And the guy says, oh, yes, but I figured you only wanted this one. But I do have a 20-acre parcel. It's in a different county. It's in a different city. But guys, hear me out. It's right on I-15. It's right when you're going down to a town called St. George. And he owns 20 acres right there on the side of I-15 that Wendy, my wife, is going to be closing on, again, guys, at 20 cents on the dollar. So buying land, is it going to be something that's going to be a continued action for us to do? Yes, my wife is loving it. There's none of this hard negotiation. There's not meeting with sellers. She's literally just sending blind offers to individuals, and they're coming back signed saying, yep, we would love to sell you our property. It's been that easy so far. Now, guys, not everything's so easy. You do have to have some marketing dollars. You got to have some spending, but I'm floored at how easy it's been for my wife to actually take action on this and close on land in rural areas. Hey guys, before we move on, I'd love for you to hit that subscribe button. Also hit the bell so it alerts you when I put out fresh new content. But let's get to our third strategy. All right, going back to our third strategy, guys, I said that this was back when I was just beginning. I was brand new into wholesaling back in 2015. I barely knew what I was doing. I was receiving some instruction from a mentor, but at the end of the day, I was really failing forward, meaning I was going out there taking massive imperfect action. It was not perfect action at all. I was very much learning as I went. But I went out to a homeowner that had called me on a postcard saying, yes, we're interested in selling our home. This city happened to be about a 50-minute drive from where I was. So I drive all the way out there. I'm excited. I call my wife. I'm like, sweetheart, I think I've got a deal coming on here. And this is probably my 4th or 5th deal. So very new to the game still. I get out there. I knock on the door. The wife and the husband open the door. Hey, Cody, sorry for wasting your time. We're not interested in selling this home anymore. And I sat there. I'm like, why didn't we call me 50 minutes ago? I drove 50 minutes out there. And he's like, but, to make it up for you, I have a piece of land it's a city called West Valley. So it's a city that's developed. It's not like it's rural area, not rural at all. And he says, I do have this piece of land. It was about 3/4 of an acre. And he's sitting there talking, and he's like, I would be willing to sell this land. And at the time, I had no idea what to do. I didn't know what land was worth. I didn't know how to put a valuation on it. I didn't know comps. I didn't know nothing. And so my lack of knowledge worked out to my benefit, and it taught me so much about negotiation. So what I did is I said, I don't know if I'm interested in land. I'm more interested in your home than land. And he's sitting there and he's like, oh man, I'd give you a swinging deal on this. And I'm sitting there thinking, I don't know what to say. I know nothing about this land stuff. So I'm like, really, I don't think I'm your guy. I think there's people out there that would be interested in this 3/4 acre, but I don't think I'm the guy. I don't know anything about land, and I probably couldn't pay you as much as someone else is willing to pay you. And at that point, I saw this light turn on in his head, I'm gonna prove to you why you wanna buy this land. And he started just talking more. Cody, a swinging deal. And so finally at this point, I'm thinking, okay, West Valley, it's a developed area. I'm just gonna throw out a number. I said, okay, I don't know. To put it in perspective, this would have to be a swinging deal because I know nothing about land. And he says, well, I'd be willing to sell it for $10,000. And I'm sitting there thinking, wait a second, 3/4 of an acre, and land isn't what it was worth back then 5-6 years ago. But at the same time, I'm like, you can't lose on this because land, you can't make more land. Once it's gone, it's gone. So I'm already getting intrigued. Now I'm like, okay, now he is actually trying to convince me. And I said, again, I bet you someone would pay you $10,000. I just don't think it's me. I don't know enough about this. I'm not your guy. When you say swinging deal, it'd have to be way swinging from that one. I'm talking $500 to $1,000 because I just know nothing about it. And all of a sudden he looks at his wife and he looks back at me and says, how about I sell it to you for what I bought it for 10, 15 years ago? I said, I don't know. What does that look like? He says, $3,000. Guys, I sat there and I didn't want my jaw to drop. So I'm almost holding my jaw shut because I'm like, no way is he doing this. I didn't have much money to my name, but I called my wife. I said, hey, sweetheart, we're buying this 3/4 of an acre. We've got to do it. We've got to act on it. and it's gotta be a home run. And if not, it's a $3,000 investment that's gonna teach me something. So we end up buying it. We ended up about 2 years later putting it on the market and sold it for $98,000. So guys, land, is it awesome? It is. Is it something that you can invest in right now and have very little to no competition? It is. Are there new things to learn about it that's different from single family? Yes. But at the end of the day, land is a viable option to be investing in, and it's something that you should be looking at, and it's something that you can really grow super quick. All right, guys, as a free gift to each one of you, I've left a link down in the description box that allows you to have access to my Deal Closing Mastery. It's the 3 top trainings that I do with private clients of mine that I train them and their acquisition managers. All you gotta do is click on that link in the description to get free access to it so you can start closing deals like the pros and increase how many deals you do each and every month.